In a remote village nestled between two towering mountains, the people live in constant fear of the gods who rule the land. The gods were known to be unforgiving, punishing even the slightest transgression with drought, storm, and worst of all, death. Every year, the village elders made offering at the sacred temple to keep the gods appeased. But this year the skies were dark and the rivers had begun to dry. The villagers whispered of an impending wrath, certain that they would not survive the season. Among the villagers was a beautiful woman who was pregnant and gave birth to an adorable Kalia. Known for her extraordinary talent for dancing, she could move like the wind, swift and graceful, and her dances were filled with joy and life. The elders considered dancing a frivolous distraction from the serious business of survival, especially in this dire time. As the drought worsened, the village leaders decided to prepare for the gods' judgment. They believed the gods would soon come to claim their lives if they were not satisfied. Desperation filled the air. The village had nothing left to offer the gods. No food, no treasures, nothing but fear and helplessness. One night, as they gathered in the temple, pleading for mercy, Kalia felt something stir deep within her. She had a vision, a calling she could not ignore. It was as though the very earth beneath her feet spoke to her, urging her to do what she did best: dancing. Despite the warning from the elders and her own fear, Kalia stood in the center of the temple and began to move. Her feet tapped the ground softly at first, then faster, creating a rhythm that echoed through the temple. Her arms moved in harmony with the music that seemed to rise from within her soul. Group of people were happy and mesmerized by the beauty and power of her movement. Some gaped in horror, thinking her action would only anger the gods further. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble. The villagers fell to their knees, convinced that the gods have come to smite them. But Kalia danced on, her eyes closed, her body moving in perfect rhythm with the rumbling earth. From the sky, a great wind descended, swelling Kalia. The gods had arrived, but instead of striking the village, they watched. Their presence was felt in the air, in the sky, and for the first time, they were not angry. Kalia's dance told the story of the village, of its hardship, of its people resilience, and their love for the land. She danced for their survival, their hope, and for the gods themselves, and for the gods for the ones listen. Their crops began to grow. As their rivers swelled once more, their domestic animals began to grow even bigger. The gods were really pleased by Kalia's dance. The village was saved. The village was filled with so much joy and laughter. Every year, in honor of a bravery, a festival was held, where Kalia would dance not in fear but in celebration of life, joy, and the beauty of movement. And the gods, watching from their distant realm, smiled while the rain fell.